So the question is, did the number of homes sold in June actually exceed, well, the available homes that are even out there? Is that even possible? We're going to get into that in just a little bit. My name is George Moorhead with Bentley Properties, and make sure that you subscribe so that you're getting these weekly updates. If you've watched any of the prior weeks and whatnot, you will know that sometimes, well, many times, I'm giving you guys slightly different market updates compared to what the media is saying. And then 30, 60 days later, the media is agreeing with us. So it's one of the reasons why I get on a few news reports and a few local newspapers, which is awesome. However, understand you're getting this information in real time. So make sure you subscribe, share this with your friends. We've got some more questions by some of our clients and followers that we'll get to in just a little bit. So with that, make sure that if you have a question, post your question so that we can answer it. We get back to you guys really fast, as many of you have said. Thanks for being so responsive. Awesome sauce. All right, so how many homes were available for sale versus how many homes actually sold? Well, this is pretty amazing. I've been practicing for 27 years. And in those 27 years, I have never seen an experience like what we saw in June. To be concise, and Marie will go ahead and post this, let me throw that up there. This is a common spread that we normally see historically, okay? This is pre-COVID, okay? And you can see the dark green is the number of homes that sold. The light green is inventory that is available. Now, when you come over here, look at that bad boy. That is a difference of 342 homes. If it weren't for the fact that we had so many new homes coming on market, we would have absolutely surpassed the available homes versus the number of homes that sold. That is staggering. In other words, for the available inventory versus the number of homes that sold, the difference was 342 homes. Crazy. That's crazy. I've never seen it like that before. But as you saw in the chart, and Marie will post this, that is absolutely amazing. What are the driving factors? Well, chatting with Dan Golden today, rates are down to 875? Yeah, 2.875. Non-owner occupied, 3.625. All right. Some people ask, George, why is non-owner occupied higher? Well, because there's more risk. Rates are based on risk. But I asked Dan, I said, Dan, holy crud, man. Are the rates going to go up or down next week? Meaning this is Saturday, so Monday next week. He's like, George, he says, we're just seeing some crazy, crazy things with interest rates right now. And it could go down. It'll probably stay relatively flat. And that prompted a question, that Josh had asked. He said, George, how do I get a hold of Dan Golden regarding paying points to hedge against interest rates? All right. Marie will post Dan Golden's information. In fact, we'll also post Juliana from Qualstar Credit Union. Here's the thing. Understand, there are different ways of considering dollars spent to secure your loan and hedge against it. If you didn't watch the Should I Pay Points video, I'll have Marie post that link again. Do watch it. That's a must-watch video because Dan and I go very clearly what are the pros and the cons of having the bank pay a point so that your closing costs are less, so that when the interest rates drop down like they did here, because remember they were 3.375 or something like that when we did our video. It's now down to 2.875. Okay, well, when you look at that, that would have been a good hedge because then you can do a refinance, pay the cost at that point. That way you're not paying loan costs twice. Again, it's just money smart. Yes, it seems confusing. The best part, both of those folks, Juliana and Dan, they will be able to walk you through that. Watch the video if you didn't see it. If you need the link, ping us, but I'll try and have Marie post that for you guys. Non-owner occupied at 3.625 is huge. It's why we've seen a massive reduction in inventory for multifamily. Now that's 4 units or less for residential guidelines. Commercial guidelines are a little bit different. That's par pricing plus like 3.5, sometimes high as 4 for commercial lending. There are some unique programs out there that are a little bit less. If you want information on that, just let us know. I don't post those here, but we monitor that market pretty broadly also. Now, let's take a look at our numbers. So you might remember the entire month of June, we were saying, hey, our on market is going crazy. We had amazing numbers of double digit pending and sold, and it was just going nutso. In fact, so much so that we're seeing a resurgence or a revisitation of 2017, which is the multiple offers and looking at aggressive pricing. Now, before in May and June, we saw that the actually it's April and May because we're always looking in the rearview mirror. We were seeing that the sales price to list price, in other words, a seller lists a home and it goes under contract and it closes. That price was at 100%. Before that, and including last year at this time, it was 97% or 98%. Well, we went from 100%, we went actually down to 99%. And that's because we are seeing sellers being a little bit more aggressive. Where are we seeing that? We're seeing it right here. New on market, month over month is still 14.1% above, but we're only 13.5% year over year as far as new homes coming on market. Number of homes actually available, second week in a row, we're up 3.1% month over month, which is showing that positive trend. However, our solds are up 8.5%, and one of the few times we actually, our pending sales dropped down a tad bit, and that's month over month. But understand, this is what, the 11th? This is the 11th, so these numbers are from the 10th. Okay, so we had the long 4th of July weekend. Completely expected that our numbers would drop down just a tad bit because why? We all wanted to get the heck out of town. We wanted to do something different. Hopefully socially distanced, but still do something more exciting than just kind of sticking around the house or sticking in the office. And a lot of people did, including myself. All right, I socially distanced with the fish that I was fishing for, except for when I had to unhook them. Then we were a little bit closer. All right, so let's go through. Year to date, we're down 42%. New on market, we're up 14%, but year over year, down 13.5%. These numbers, completely consistent. We have seen this level of reduction in inventory pretty much over the last, I would say, 60, 70 days. When we look at our pended are only down 6.2%, 2.1% month over month. Okay, so we need to give the grace of, hey, there's a few things that are happening with holidays. But note this, here's our last 24 hours. So again, because this is Saturday and Friday is a massive, let's put our home on the market day, we had 429. However, we had 395 that actually went off market, 354 that actually sold. So if you take a look at the inventory, what came on market, new listings, and went off market, there are only 30 more homes on market versus what went off market in the last 24 hours. That's a pretty small gap. So much so that gap, more than likely, we're going to have a repeat. And if we go into August, we'll have a three-peat. I just want to say that. Anyway, understand, our market is still hopping and bopping, okay? One of the questions that was asked is said, George, are foreclosures a worthy investment today? Okay. Jim, no. They haven't been. Foreclosures in our area, because we're one of the 5 sweet spots across the United States. We have not had a great foreclosure market in any way, shape, or form since probably 2014-ish. And that's when our inventory absolutely dwindled. There are very few foreclosures that come on. And even if we look at some of the mortgages that are doing a forbearance and things like that, hey, listen, that's a controlled environment. Foreclosures are still being held off. No foreclosures allowed during this time yet. So we're still going to be doing the process. I shouldn't say no foreclosures. We're still in the process of making sure that people kind of get things back going. The economy gets back going. People get back to work. They get their jobs back. And then there's forbearance options. And that's a completely different subject that we can talk about. If somebody wants to know more about it, we'll do a video for you. There are different options to consider. All right. So when we take a look at solds, our solds are, again, month over month, are up 8.5%. And then they're only down 11.4%. So here's the funny thing. You guys may have seen in the paper from the Northwest MLS press release that, as predicted, I talk about months of inventory, right? We had 1.7 months of inventory 2 weeks ago. We're at 1.1 months of inventory right now. And it actually went a little bit lower than even I projected because of the volume of sales that we've been seeing. That is awesome for sellers, because if you're asking, George, is this a seller's market? The answer is yes. Well, hands down. The sellers have the absolute perfect storm, and then having these crazy interest rates, even more buyers are going to come out because now their buying power has increased tens of thousands of dollars by that reduction in rate. They're saving hundreds of dollars every single month because of this rate. And so they are entering back into the market. Our condo market is absolutely starting to get drawn down because of available inventory, and people want to take advantage of rates, which is awesome. And I don't blame them. I would do the same thing. All right. In fact, I am, right? I'm always looking for another investment. All right. When we talk about the actual number of homes that we are going to see available on market, if this number starts to go down, we're going to have a very caustic environment, because at 1.1 months of inventory, that's tight enough as it is. Now, okay, so let me back up. Some people say, George, what does that mean exactly? All right. If we have a bucket, and we're going to call this the Northwest MLS, so Northwest Multiple Listing Service. It's where all agents put their listings inside this bucket, okay? I put a lid on this bucket, right? I don't add any more inventory to it. We should have, in a healthy market, 4 to 6 months of inventory in that bucket to sell. We're at 1.1 months of inventory. If I were to take a look at the numbers today based on just the last 2 weeks, we're probably closer to 1 month. I have a projection by the end of July, based on these numbers and these trends. There's a high probability we will go back to, in like 2017, we have less than 1 month of inventory, which again makes for just a very crazy real estate market where people start giving up too many concessions. We're starting to see that now. So if you're looking at buying a home, make sure that all of your ducks are in line, and absolutely do an inspection on a home. Do a pre-inspection on a home. Okay, so it's going to cost you $450 per house, maybe as high as $500, depending on the size of the house. Don't shortcut that process. That is a cheap insurance policy. Make sure you go into it eyes wide open. Get off my soapbox. That's my 2 cents for you. All right. So Jim and Becky, they asked, George, we're elderly and we're worried about COVID. How can we protect ourselves as sellers from people coming through our home because they're concerned about contracting COVID? They're elderly, puts them at a high risk. All right, so Jim and Becky, here's the awesome part about this. Not only with the homes that we have been marketing, not only with the homes that we go out and we are seeing other agents in the industry, here's the really great part. For the most part, everybody is doing the right thing. I have not seen anybody do the wrong thing. We're all wearing our masks. We're all making sure that we're social distancing. Everything is being scheduled. All showings are scheduled. And so you will know when to be there, when not to be there. And the best part is, a lot of the agents, including ourselves, we put, we have our little wipes. Maybe I should turn that donut. Oh, I'll do it on my advertising. There's Clorox. We do the disinfecting wipes, right? We have our hand sanitizers. With that, we also offer, for anybody who's forgotten, we offer gloves and a mask, again, to protect people including yourselves as folks are going through the homes. And if we also denote that there are some sensitivities there, agents are doing awesome. They're just doing a really great job out there, being very conscientious and you know what, just making sure everybody is safe because nobody wants to be typhoid Mary. Anyway, so if that puts your heart at ease, let us know. If you have any other questions, let us know. All right. Okay. Tristan and Danielle, they're relocating to the area. Is the market going down? I'm going to say no to that based on all of this. Uh, Tristan, Danielle, the market is doing amazingly well. And in fact, people are doing pre-inspections on homes before they even make an offer. All right. They are making their financing contingencies a lot less. They're increasing there's a document for additional down payment, meaning if there's a disparity between appraisal and sales price, which we are seeing again, okay, that people are offering a higher price than the appraiser saying yes. And they're saying, hey, I'm going to cover that gap. If anybody wants to know more about that, just ping us back. We'll give you an answer on that. Understand our market is doing incredibly well. Our inventory has dropped dramatically. All right. Cliff asked, are builders still offering concessions? Yeah, you know, Cliff, that's a great question. So a couple of months ago, they were offering amazing concessions. Now that the market has started to recover, and in fact, there's now once again, we're seeing a shortage of new construction on and available. They are, again, not offering nearly as many concessions as they used to. They are going to want to maintain plat integrity as far as plat pricing, so they would offer certain things in lieu of price. But we are not seeing that as much. Now, you will see that towards an end of a plat, if it's if it's a higher end or kind of a very niche type of project, you'll see more concessions there. You'll see the concessions when a plat first opens, which is the best time to purchase a home because that's when they will take the least amount of profit because it's kind of like a loss leader, you know, when you see in the newspaper and they say, hey, here you can buy this car and it's like, you know, $10,000 less than all the other cars. Well, it's to attract you to come in. That builders do the same thing. Marketing 101, right? Let me start creating a lot of activity. I'm going to have this one, get a bunch of people in there, and then start upselling. Okay. And every single week, every 2 weeks, a builder will increase price because of their holding costs. Okay. So it is a common practice ever since I've been in real estate. So expect that. So best times to buy a plat or a home in a plat is when it's new. Or if it's a niche one, see what kind of concessions you can get at the end. All right. Okay. With that, if you guys have any questions, ask us. We actually answer them timely. Again, remember to subscribe, like our channel. If there's anything else that we can answer for you, again, send us your questions. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Josh, Jim, Becky, Tristan, Danielle, Cliff, hey, thanks for your questions. And I will see you guys on the next video. And stay safe out there. Take care.